I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
Today we're going to be talking about why is my ex taking so long to come back? Well, I could tell you that I know what this feels like because every second of the day feels like an hour. It is the worst feeling ever where it's time slows down and nothing makes you feel better. There's no hobby, no interest, no anything that makes you feel better, and the time just drags where a day feels like days. And so that's part of the issue. That time kind of slows down. I don't know why, Margaret.
I was just thinking about that. Whenever we're really, really shaken and really, really upset, time can slow down. It's a trauma response.
Well, you hear about athletes that say time slows down in big moments.
Yeah, if you're overwhelmed by a moment, yes, you can feel that time slows down.
I just heard a story recently about an athlete. I can't remember if it was one of the Yankees that was talking about how time slowed down in the I think it was a guy who had hit his first major league home run, and he was talking about it slowed down. He kind of almost like not like blacked out, but kind of lost time in this running around the bases and doesn't remember
it. He couldn't believe it. It was almost a shock.
It's like an outer body experience
it's
or
a
something.
dissociation, actually.
Yeah.
It's like an out-of-body experience. Yes, absolutely.
So I think a big part of the breakup is that not hearing from your ex for 2 weeks feels like that's it. They're never going to reach out again. I'll tell you, I just had a girl message me on Instagram, I think yesterday, that we had done a coaching with a while ago, and she said, guess what? After a year, my ex reached out and asked me, he told me he wanted to see me, and she was dating somebody new, but I remembered her, and I was like, oh, there you go. There's another one.
Must have been a long year.
Yeah, it must have been a very long year. Must have felt like a couple of years at least.
So we're going to talk about this today because it's natural, believe it or not, for your ex to need time to really get to a place where they'd want to come back again.
Yeah. So the first thing is that your ex's timeline for grieving the relationship is completely different from yours. Right now, you're in a state of shock. And just like Craig and Margaret were saying, it's almost a traumatic shock of what just happened. So your experience of the breakup is going to be completely different from your ex's. So as you're feeling devastated, they're probably experiencing relief, probably feeling freedom for the first time in a long time. And they're also probably feeling a sense of accomplishment of, wow, I did this thing that I thought was going to be very difficult to end this relationship.
I got it over with,
exactly.
Right?
I'm finally on the other side. It also is a decision that they thought would make them happier. So it's going to take some time for them to see what that decision is like and what it looks like to not be in a relationship with you. So the word for that relief stage that they're feeling is actually separation elation. And I learned that from you, Margaret.
It rhymes nicely, doesn't it? Separation elation. That's kind of like if you move out on your own for the first time and you say, I don't answer to anybody, I'm totally free. Is this not wonderful? You can get giddy about it, okay? So this person has probably worried for a couple of months about having to break up with you because it's never easy, even though you're the one who makes the decision. And so when it's finally over and they feel that they're free to do whatever they want to do, there is a period of elation. It doesn't last too long. A week maybe,
I think it could last longer than that.
Yeah.
Especially if the relationship was years.
If it was a long time, yes.
Then they're really going to
Absolutely.
want to go out and
Right.
party.
Right. So finally I can go out and do everything I want to do. And they may do that, which is even more painful to the person
Oh,
who's
yeah.
left. Yeah.
That makes it go from horrible to horribly horrible.
And not good either.
Yeah. You know, I know what it's like to be in that situation and to think and to feel like it really is the end of the world when somebody starts dating somebody new. But there's a high probability that they're not going to last. How many relationships do we get into that last? It's very difficult to find somebody that you're going to stay with for the rest of your life. Okay? And so what are the chances that the first person that they meet is the person that they're going to stay with forever?
Yeah.
I think it's very slim.
Don't bother me with logic. I'm in a state and I want him back.
Exactly. So your ex probably will start going out on dates, talking to new people, going new places, having new experiences. It's normal. And the reason I'm telling you this is part of the reason why it takes them so long to come back. Because they need to go off and do these things. They need to go feel excitement from talking to somebody new a lot of the times, or just feeling like I don't have to tell anybody where I'm going or what I'm doing. I don't have to be responsible for anybody else's needs. I could be carefree and do whatever I want.
Yep.
And it takes time for that excitement to wear off, where you're starting to realize,
Particularly if you get somebody young. Because we oftentimes see older men with women in their early 20s. And they've never had that feeling of elation before. They may never have moved out of their homes and had that sense of being on their own, being their own boss, being in charge. Nobody can tell them what to do. And it's going to take time to work through that.
yeah, they need to do those things for a while before they see all these people that I talk to aren't so interesting or aren't so great. And going out on all these new experiences, yeah, it was fun, but it wasn't what I thought it would be.
Yeah, so now I know that there isn't, a whole lineup of Mr. Rights and Knights in Shining Armor just outside of town.
Yep.
Yeah, and usually they're so caught up in this stage of trying to find new and fun, exciting experiences that it takes them time to realize what they lost and the impact that you've had on their life. And also that stability of you being there for however long that you guys were together for. I think people really underestimate how much somebody showing up day in and day out for somebody can do. So it takes time for memories to become memories. It's all about perspective. And people say hindsight is 20/20. It takes some time to get there. And I'm sure there's things that you can think about where you think back in the past and you feel completely differently than you did in the moment.
Right.
And you'll even hear on the channel, me and Craig and I share our experiences of our breakup and we laugh. That's to show you the power of time, where moments where we were the most devastated in our lives, we're able to now with time go back and have the complete opposite emotion towards. So there's definitely something to say about time and its impact on how we view things and how we view memories of the past.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I could look at some of the things that I did with my breakups and laugh about it and say, man, that was embarrassing. Or, I wish I could take that back.
Yeah.
But, for me, I'm glad that I did those things because it helped me get so good at what I do.
Absolutely, you learn from all of it. And that's how that nasty little inner voice that we all have can go back and say, you never should have done that. Now you're embarrassed by it. And that's why we're always talking about fighting that mean little inner voice.
Margaret, another big reason that it takes a while for exes to come back is grief.
Absolutely. And we don't think about grief in the heat of the moment. We just think of getting that person back. And anytime you have a loss that's really personal, where you've been with someone, you've been intimate with someone, you've lived with them, it's absolutely a grief process. And we can't forget that. And there is no hurry in grief. I do remind people all the time, as Coach Victoria said, that grief has a beginning and a middle and an end. But you cannot skip it. And if you do, it will you can put grief on hold, but if you do that, it will eventually cause you depression and anxiety until you deal with it.
Now, we understand that it's not going to look like your ex is grieving you, right? Because they look like they could care less.
Oh, they look like they're having a great time.
Yeah.
But ultimately, if you are a significant part of their life, which we obviously think is the case for most of you, because you were in a relationship, a committed relationship for many of you, right? So obviously, they can't just get over it as quick as they appear to be behaving, okay? You know, there are other things that could be holding them back besides grief. They could have people in their life saying, don't go back to them. Or maybe there's some family manipulation that they wanted them to come back home.
Right.
Right? That they,
all of those things can happen.
You know, maybe they wanted to set you up with somebody to be married to, right? There could have been some... I mean, there's all kinds of things that other people could be doing behind the scenes that were sabotaging the relationship or keeping them from coming back to you. So they would have to get to a point where they decide, you know what, regardless of what my friends and family tell me, I love this person, I'm going back to them.
That would be a very healthy decision.
And there could be things even outside of all those that are keeping them back too, that they have no control over. Whether it be a death in the family or something that they have to tend to, an illness, their career that's extremely demanding. So sometimes exes will tell you, I have a lot going on right now. And it's very hard for us in our anxious state to see that there is something going on that's outside of their control, outside of our control, that's at play, and that's taking them so long to even think about anything romantic or relational at all. So for them to resolve whatever issue that is going to take time. So think about what other factors might be happening in their life too.
It's very hard for people to do that. And we hear the despair. I'm never going to hear from them again. I haven't heard from them for 3 weeks, and I just know I'm never going to hear from them again.
Yeah.
Exes come back after years all the time.
Yes, they do.
We're not telling you to put your life on hold for years.
Never.
We just want you to know that, yeah, it may be some time before they come back around again. And what you do with that time is absolutely critical. I cannot tell you how important it is to understand your attachment issues, to understand your mental health, your partner's mental health, what needs you might have, what unmet needs you might have, how to communicate better, how to be a better partner, how to understand the relationship needs better. All of those things could give you an opportunity to truly change your relationship with that person. And if they don't come back, you're still going to have all these amazing skills and personal growth.
Right.
That's going to blow away the next person you meet.
Yeah, exactly. And if you find yourself really struggling with the breakup, or maybe it has been a long time and you're just still in this immense grief, you don't have to live your life that way. Please see a therapist or somebody in your area that can help you get through this, because it's not something that you have to go through alone or something that you have to bear.
Yep. When I was going through my breakup with the Applebee's girl, this is who I went to.
This is who we went to.
I went to Margaret. And I went to you for years afterwards. And it became beyond the breakup, but, you know, I loved going to Margaret and learning from her every week. We would talk about clients that I had and, you know, mentoring me and helping me learn. But we also were talking about the breakups and what happens in breakups for years.
Yep. And I hope you can do therapy with the same enthusiasm that Craig did. You'll feel better in no time at all.
I was going to you twice a week for a while.
One of the other things that I think people forget to mention here is that it depends to some extent on how many losses a person has had. And that's important to think about if you're dealing with this kind of thing. If you've lost, you know, a whole series of people from your family, or someone your age has been killed in a car accident or an overdose or any of those unfortunate things, that can slow down your grief a little bit. And it's good to be aware of that.
Grief is a complicated thing, and it takes time.
Yep. But by all means, as Coach Victoria says, don't suffer in silence or alone. You don't have to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you want to get our help personally, that's what we're here for. You can get a coaching with me on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Of course, Margaret is available for Skype coaching.
If you feel that I can be helpful, please sign up.
All you have to do is click Margaret on the top of the website to do that. And Coach Victoria will continue to train with us.
I'll still be here.
But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon. To get my help personally, go to askcraig.net and click on Schedule Coaching and choose the option that works best for you. I do email coaching or Skype. To schedule a coaching with Margaret, click on Margaret on the top of the page and order a Skype with her. For the Knowledge Creative Healing course, click on the link at the top of the page and click Get Started Now.